last one night worship was really an awesome experience in God's presence, and ever since then God has really been stirring me to do another one. And I felt like ever since that night God was proclaiming this word in my mind, and it's the word limitless. You see, I often think about what God could do in our communities, in our nation, and in our world, but I wonder how much we truly believe He can do. You know, I think you and I, we limit Him a lot. See, the way we were raised and the culture that we live in today, it's full of limits and boundaries. You see, limits on what job you can have, limits on whether you have certain tools or attributes to do something, whether you look good enough or whether you can speak well enough. Our society is built around not good enough, not possible. And the term limitless is not even used. However, we serve a God of quite the opposite mindset, a God that is limitless Himself, a God that measures the universe by the palm of His hand, the God that breathed the stars into existence and made the entire universe out of nothing, and the God that took the dust of the ground and breathed life into it, life to worship Him, life to have a relationship with. See, the Bible says that God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and that He loves us more than anything. But have we forgotten Him though? Jesus says clearly that with men things may seem impossible, but with God all things are possible. I wonder if we are living today with the faith that God really can do anything. You see, there's this awesome story in the Bible where Jesus is speaking to an enormous crowd, and the Bible says it's at least 5,000 people. And Jesus has been speaking for a long time, and the disciples realize they're probably getting hungry, and they're getting hungry themselves. So they come to Jesus and say that they should have them leave because we can't feed them. And Jesus says, "What food do we have?" And they say, "We only have 5 loaves and 2 fish." And Jesus says, "Bring all that you have to me." So the story goes on, and they bring the 5 loaves and the 2 fish to Jesus, and Jesus gives God thanks for what they have offered to Him. And Jesus ends up doing a limitless act with it, a miracle. The Bible says that after the 5,000 were full, that they actually pick up 12 basketfuls of leftovers. And I think that's for us. I think that's showing us a little glimpse of the limitless behavior of God and the limitless miracles that God can do in our lives. If we give Him the little that we have, if we offer the little that we have to Him, He can take it and do, as Paul says, immeasurably more than all we can ask, think, or even imagine. That is the God that we worship. That is the God that we serve. And I believe that God says, as he says to Jeremiah, He still says to His church today, that if we call upon Him, He will answer us. He will show us unsearchable things. He will show us unheard of things. Our God, when we call upon Him, will show us great and mighty things. I believe that is the God that we worship today. And I believe that He still longs to meet us. And I encourage you again, as last time, come out worshiping. It's just one night of worshiping together. One God as one church with one purpose. And that is to ask God to open our eyes to see how limitless He is, and that He gives His Spirit without limit. And He longs to meet us. He is a limitless God who desires to take the limits off.